Kaya, guys. You can call me Kaya, and this is my channel. So, for those who are already subscribers, thank you. I'm really grateful. And for those who are tuning in for the first time, please click the subscribe button at the bottom. Today, I will be sharing a story of the day. My husband, who was my then boyfriend, almost got caught by my dad in my dad's house. So this story sums up from my husband wanting to engage me at that time. Spoiler alert, that wasn't successful. So he called me. On weekends I used to go home. Like literally every weekend I used to go home. I used to go to Tembisa to my sister's place. And I would come back on Mondays. My sister and I was so inseparable. I always had to be home on weekends. So on that weekend, he calls me and he's like, "Are you able to come back on Sunday today? Or this weekend?" And then I'm like, "No, I can't come back on Sunday. You know, I come back on Mondays because I'm only going to see my sister on Friday again." So he begs me, and I'm adamant. Nope, I'm not coming. And so another friend of ours called me and he's like to me, so if you come back, I promise I'm going to give you money. And I'm thinking, why am I being bribed to come back? And so I said, okay, I'll think about it, knowing very well I'm not going, there's no ways I'm going to miss out spending time with my sister for going back. I'm coming and I'm going to be there for a whole week. So he then called again. My boyfriend called again, who's now my husband, and said, "You know what? We'll see with you tomorrow when you come." So I said, "Okay." So I told my sister, but something's dodge. Snare is asking me to come back on Sunday, as if he's planning something. I know very well it's not an engagement party, because there's no ways that he can plan an engagement party when he hasn't even been to my house to go visit. I know he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't plan an engagement party without going to do the lobola and the processes that he knows is supposed to follow. So that was out for me. I knew it wasn't that. But maybe he's planning a party. Definitely, I had hints that he's planning something for me. So my sister was like, "Yo, you're gonna miss out, whatnot, but I don't want you to leave." And I was like, "I also don't want to leave. We'll see it when I go back." So he called on the Sunday because now I had ruined my own engagement party, and he was like, "I was planning to engage you." Did apologize for that. So okay, now I panicked and I called my mom, and I'm like, I've never told my mom about any of the people that I was dating, so it was my first time, but I told her this time. So I called my mom and I told her about, "Yay, the man that I'm dating wants to marry me." Yay, she freaked out. "You are so young. Like, are you even ready? You're not even done with school." And so forth. No. Are you ready? Then I'm like, "Mom, I love him." That was enough for her to be like, "Okay, let's talk. Let's have this guy come here. I want to meet this guy first before he proceeds with wanting to start the Labola negotiations. I want to get a feel from his background and so forth. I want to meet him. Let's have him here." So I asked her, "Then where is he going to live if he comes that side?" She's like, "No, he can live here at home with us." "What about dad?" And she was like, "No, he doesn't have to find out." So I know, Vele, my dad was never going to find out, guys. So why was my dad not going to find out? At home, we have back rooms. My dad never enters those back rooms. We could hide someone in those rooms, and everyone else would know besides my dad for a month or even a year, and he wouldn't know because he never goes there. And another thing about my dad, he has like a schedule. He goes to work during the week. He has a transport business, and then on weekends he's a taxi driver. So he knocks off at 5. He gets home, let's say at 5:30. He eats. We must already have his food ready for him to eat. He eats at 6 o'clock. He sleeps, and that's it. The end. So we knew there's no ways he's not gonna find out. As long as my mom knows everything, we are safe. We are cool. Okay, so my husband came to my house and he met everyone besides my dad. He even met my oldest brother, which was like I was excited about that because my brother is not easygoing. So for him to meet my husband and actually like my husband, that meant a lot to me. Hey, we had planned that during the day we would play games, and my mom went out. She was somewhere else during the day because there was something in the community, she had to go and participate in that. So the rest of my family, being my sister-in-law and my sisters, would be with my husband and would play games. At home we love games, so yeah, we would play games and just get to know each other, then they get to know Snem. So unfortunately my brother had to go to work and he was not going to come back at home. He was going to go to their place, so that was fine. So we played games like we had planned to during the day, and my husband was very close with my little sister. They were really, really, really close. Even till today, they are like very close. So he loved her. I don't know if you remember from my previous video, my husband had said that he wanted a girl. And for him, my little sister was going to be an image of the girl that we would have together. So he loved her so much and she loved him. So when he was there, she was just cuddled, like she loved him, and she was very young. So it was nice. So we played games, and then later on my dad knocked out. So we heard the car coming in, we quickly went out. So supper was already ready. I made supper for him, I gave it to him, and then he put it in the lounge. Usually he eats in the lounge of his room. So he put it in the lounge and then he went outside. And he stood outside, facing the flats. So this is weird. This is something that has never happened. And with people who I've told the story, they said maybe he felt. I believe that he felt it. I feel like he did feel it. So he faced the flats and he started complaining. He started complaining about a gas stove. They have a gas stove with my mom that they rent out to people. So he started complaining about that gas stove, that my mom had lent it to someone and that person didn't pay. And now the gas stove came with, the cylinder was empty or something like that, but yeah, he had a complaint. So we were listening to him up, and then he went up the stairs and he went to the back rooms. So when he got there, he opened the room with the gas stove and he said, yes, this confirms what I said. The gas stove, the gas stove doesn't have, the cylinder doesn't have gas inside. So at that moment, guys, because that room with the gas stove is across the room where my husband is in, and you can imagine he can hear my father's voice from outside. So he says he was hiding behind the door, and then after the gas room he goes into the toilet. He never goes into that. What is he doing in that bathroom? He goes into the toilet. I don't know what he does. I don't know what he's looking for. And then he stands. So at that point, I know my dad was very strict. He's not that strict anymore because of age and so forth. But my dad was very strict, guys. Very strict. So I knew that something is going to happen. I'm going to get in trouble. Maybe I'm not going to be allowed to come home anymore. I don't know what's going to happen. And the thing is, my mom is not here. So I decided to just sit down because I don't know if I can handle everything that's going to happen now. So I sat down and my sister-in-law stood up. She went up to the room that Sneh was in. She stood in front of the door. Then my little sister, who's in high school, she's doing matric now, stood in front of my sister-in-law. And then in front of my dad, who's now facing the room that my husband is in, was my little sister, the youngest one. So she didn't really understand what was happening at the time. So she started yelling, I want to go to Ubuti. I want to go spend time with Ubuti. Yeah. Okay, luckily she calls everyone Ubuti. So it could be, my dad didn't really pick it up because it could be that she's speaking about my brother, my older brother, but my older brother is not here. Like, what is she talking about? So we made as if we didn't hear what she was saying. So we tried to brush that. Like, yeah. And then my sister was like, no, Dad. Because now she's facing my dad. No, Dad, you can't go. You can't go. What do you want in here? You can't go in here. He removed her, and then he was faced with my sister-in-law. She's the oldest in this group. Yeah. I knew it. And it's at that point that I knew I was going to die. And she's just so smooth with words. So she was like, you know what, Dad? Whatever you're looking for, I think you can continue to look for it tomorrow. At that time, I'm sure Snare was just, I don't know what was happening inside there. But I wanted to cry. I was red because I know what's going to happen. So she's like, no, I think you should just go inside and eat and probably sleep. Whatever you're looking for, you'll look for in the morning. Or you can tell us so that we can look for it. And he I think, I don't know, maybe guys, maybe he felt it that we are hiding something, of which is why he decided, let me just leave it, or I don't know. But then he looked at her, and then he's like, okay. Then he went down. Then he went to have his food, and then he went to sleep. When Snake came out of that room, he was sweating. I kid you not, guys. He was sweating. I felt so sorry for him. I'm sure he wanted to go home. He was so uncomfortable. And my mom came back, and we told her that my dad almost saw Snare, and it was not going to be. She knows it was not going to be pleasant, especially with her not being there. Then she apologized. She's like, I'm sorry, guys. I was really caught up where I was. But you know what? Tomorrow, we can have Snare formally meeting your father. But we'll have him meet your father as one of those guys from your church. So the church that we go to has missionaries. So the following day was a Sunday. So we're going to be wearing Sunday best because we're going to be coming from church. So really, we went to church. We came back. We were dressed Sunday best. And my dad and Snare had supper with us that day inside the house. And my dad walked in. And he looked, maybe I was seeing things. He looked at all of us, and he looked at me, and he looked at Snare. And then he greeted, because he thinks it's someone from church. And then, and then he went to his room. That almost went very bad. But yeah, that sums up the day that we had to hide Snare from my dad in my dad's house. And then the next time that my dad saw my husband was when the second round of Lobolas. He was waiting outside in one of the cars parked from far, and then as soon as they had completed, he then came in. Then they officially met each other. Yeah, so now they love each other. My dad loves my husband very much, and so does he. So I can't wait for you guys to officially meet my husband. I will do a video where I introduce my husband to you, and I'll draft a few questions for him. He answers those questions. If you want me to add any question that you would like to ask him when he's introducing himself, please do tell me, and then I'll add that. Please do comment. Tell me in the comment section, and then I'll add that. But yeah, we've had quite the time with my husband. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Till next time. Bye.